Hello, and today we're talking about the HHKB Professional Classic by I think PFU. Very popular board, I guess. The HHKB lineup. I'd say it has a cult classic. I said, yeah, PFU Limited. Bam. I'm not sure where the company's from, but Topra is I don't know, Japanese, I guess. So yeah, Topra switches. Well, not really. I guess switches. Well, yeah, they're on Topra, rubber dome, not membrane, but rubber dome. So they got like individual like cups and shit, and you like compress it down. Think of it like, I don't know, like a pop socket. I don't know. And then there's like a coil under, blah blah blah. Yeah, pretty cool. Electrocapacitive. 6.25U spacebar, blah blah blah. Layout. One thing I did notice is that, of course, I actually never noticed that HHKBs aren't actually perfect symmetrical. Which I guess now I know. I think because custom ones, they get 7U spacebar, so it kind of like adds the extra little stuff. I never really noticed, but it doesn't really bother me because I don't really care. But that is something that I did notice. So why did I purchase this? Of course, it's something I want to try. Everyone, there's definitely a huge following for Topra switches, and honestly, a lot of people have told me, or I've seen, not really told me, but I've seen a lot of people say that HHKBs are the true Topra experience because of the sound. Because this is like the thock that you're gonna this is the OG thock. This is what you're gonna get because of the plate. I don't know what material it is, but it's a thocky plate. I bet it's like, I don't know, some plastic. But yeah, into compared to like I think Leopolds and Real Forces have metal plates. So this is what I got. I will say that I'm very satisfied with my order. Uh, yeah, so that's kind of gives away what I think about it. But I will say that it is going to be expensive for a lot of people. I bought this for maybe like 230 Canadian dollars from Amazon, from Japanese Amazon. I got it like used, like new from some guy. I was gonna get I was looking at on eBay for professional 2, around 200 Canadian from Japan as well. But I honestly opted for the Professional Classic because the Professional Classic has USB-C, and which I honestly didn't want to have a cable to specifically use when I want to use it. It's just really inconvenient for me. Even though I have seen that the Professional 2, when modded, sounds better than the Professional Classic when modded. However, the Professional Classic tends to ease out on people's votes for stock performance. And that's one thing I really love about this is stock performance. Not necessarily, in my opinion, the sound, I guess, isn't the most refined or likable for a lot of people, but I really like it. I will plan on silence modding it maybe in the future and lubing it. But right now, I'm satisfied with it right now. Right now, I'm satisfied with the way it is right now. I haven't really touched it in anything. I really like it. It has like, I run it with the 3 dim switch up and the 5 dim switch up. I don't know what the 5 one does. 5 switches to alts, and 3 is for delete for the backspace key. Ooh. Oh my gosh. My thing dropped. I don't want to be losing that. But yeah. So one thing that apparently they upgraded the feet compared to the Professional 2, which I guess is another win for me in my purchasing decisions. They got feet. I wouldn't recommend using the feet though, just because you want the lowest, in my opinion, for ergonomics, you want the lowest height possible. Any more will put more strain on your wrists. In my opinion, unless you're using a wrist rest, when that added thing, you might want to have that a little propped up a little bit more. Okay. So, I'm just going to give a little typing demo here. So yeah, that was honestly pretty slow. But I will say that when typing fast, you tend to hear more of the top sound like this. So yeah, so I guess it's really dependent on your typing style to get, because when you press harder, in my opinion, harder and more spaced out, I think it sounds a lot better than maybe what I usually tend to do. So to me, I felt like maybe it swayed me or made me want to type in a specific way. If I, just because I think there is a certain thought you can get when you type in a specific manner that is desirable and what people talk about. So I really like it. To me, it sounds really nice, really unique, really distinct, really interesting. It's not rather not really it's not something that I feel like it's going to be really hard to replicate on any other board. And while yes, I guess it's not really blah 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 creamy or smooth sounding or whatever, it kind of has like an imperfectness or some sort of charm that this is the stock performance, and it doesn't sound like a lot of other boards because it's on Topra, of course. And that is one big reason why I like this board. I don't want to rate this board. I will say that I'm not going to rate this board on. I'm trying not to rate this board on its layout because I think that's really stupid. Of course, if you don't like this layout, don't get it. Layout should be one of the first things you look at when you're choosing a keyboard. So it really sucks to me when I see beginners. God, in every hobby, I'm going to complain about beginners. I'm such an elitist. Oh my God. But you see these people like, oh, what is better, QK60 or QK65? And they'll be like, oh yeah, QK65 is better because it got arrow keys. And like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you'll see that. Or like people talk about HHKB, like, what? Like, oh yeah, HHKB sucks. I need a control. When, the control is like just right here. Actually a way better position than down here. Stuff like that, uneducated or rather unimportant information that people give, specifically just grading based on layout. If it's a common layout, you can maybe say that like, oh, okay, it's not for me. I'm not really willing to learn that layout, and I'm not really a fan of that layout. You can say that, but that, in my opinion, that doesn't really discredit the quality of the keyboard, yeah, that's just all I'm going to say here. So I don't want to discredit that. I actually love this. This would actually get bonus points for the layout, and I think it's really revolutionary, I guess, for people who are used to like. I heard people who like use Vim really like this because it got the classics. I don't know. I use control a lot. I really like the control place in video games. I actually am a person when I'm gaming, like here. I like to spam this key here. So it's a lot better, in my opinion, to have control be that key rather than caps lock, because in some keyboards it has a light, and when I look at my keyboard and it has a light, it's really rather annoying, and I want to tap it to turn off that light because I'm not a big fan of RGB on anything. But yeah. So HHKB. One thing I really love about this is the feel. I think a lot of people nowadays tend to say, "Oh, I want a keyboard that sounds like this. I want it to be T word, But and like that's it. Like I think I spoke to Artcraft earlier this year, and he says, "Oh yeah, I don't care about anything else. I just want it to sound good." In my opinion, that shouldn't be the. In my opinion, or my values, I really disagree. I say sound is important per se, but it's not gonna. Sound isn't gonna make me want to use that board every day. You know, I want I want it designed well. I want it to feel good. I want it to look a certain way, for example. But that's not something that I that's not something there's a list of priorities, is what I'm saying, and you shouldn't just say I want this. Okay, then there's gonna be like sound is subjective as well, to your environment, and there's so much variables that you have to really, when picking a keyboard, you have to really have a list of priorities, see if that keyboard fits it, and you know that will dictate your purchasing decisions. For me, this was kind of a no-brainer after a certain while, because this was something unique that I don't have anything like in my collection, and this is actually something that I'm going to be using. Honestly, because I'm a big fan of the layout. It's unique. It doesn't feel like anything or sound like any of my other boards, and in my opinion, it's just really, really nice to use. It's one of my favorite keyboards to use, honestly, and in its stock performance as well. Like, in my opinion, if I didn't care about keyboards, if I was like some random guy who worked in an office and I wanted to buy a keyboard to use every day, this is going to be what I'm going to get, because I don't need to tinker with it. I don't need to care about keyboards. This is something I can just bring in, and it's going to be really comfortable. I'm going to be able, and I'm going to be happy to use this for like multiple hours. Like, this is like, for me, this is right now my favorite productivity or like working keyboard, because it's just, I will say that, like, I don't know, it just feels, it's like rugged, it's portable, it's lightweight, it's something that kind of, it just really fits in with my workflow. It really fits in with what I seek in a keyboard like that. Like, okay, sure, maybe it's not, of course I'm not going to be using this, and I'm not going to be sticking with this, because I do have multiple keyboards that I want to rotate. But this is something that I'm going to be returning back to a lot, because of what it brings to me, what it makes me feel, of its comfortability. Comfortability is a big word that I think about when I type on this keyboard. It, like, the layout, I guess, daring to some, but it honestly kind of eases me in and attracts me, because of the position of the control key being at the home row level. So instead of like having to go and like tilt my wrists like this to hit that control tilt, I just don't move at all. Control C, Control V, bam, Control F, whatever control. It does take some time to memorize, of course, for specific stuff, like maybe Control Alt Delete, stuff like that. In my opinion, does feel a little bit weird, but for simple stuff, right now I have the heck of it, and I find myself when switching other boards, it really, I do tend to prefer this position. And it really sucks when I have to, if I'm on my other board and I have to use this for the Control C, Control V, and I'm pressing this stuff with my pointer fingers, like this, when I rather like put them like this, move them down rather than up, rather than shift my whole hand. That's really it. Does it make me want to type every day? No, it doesn't really. I will say that it may be, sure, I guess, somewhat. It doesn't make me, I don't want to word this way. It does make me like typing. It doesn't really like, there's not really a sound. It makes me not want to type for the sound. It makes me want to type because I want to type to like improve my typing, or to become more efficient like that, and it feels very nice and comfortable in typing. Yeah, I'm bringing up comfortability again. When I'm typing, it doesn't feel fatiguing. I'm not trying to like listen to the keyboard, although it does sound nice, but I'm not typing just to like test something out and get tired of it, because this is an everyday keyboard for me. I do tend to do a lot of typing tests, actually, probably more typing tests on this keyboard than my other keyboards, even though maybe the other keyboards are on paper more customizable, more variable, of like the same thing basically, but that's the same word, I'm just saying, but maybe sound more optimal. Something like I rather and the variability, of course, like I would say like, oh, I could try new switches, I could try some different foams, I could do a different plate, I can do a different mounting style, I could blah blah blah. Yeah, that could pique my interest. I want to do that. I want to have typing tests for that. But this is something that I'm not going to get tired of. I'm not going to want to switch these out. This is something that, like, okay, yeah, I could get desk keys, domes, but that's not like that, like for switching out. But honestly, I am very satisfied with these, and it's hard to say when looking at a different keyboard to be completely satisfied with a board. I guess it's maybe Topra in being so addicting, but I can't see myself, in my opinion, choosing any other stock board than a keyboard like this. This keyboard kind of feels like it is for me. It is like, okay, maybe something is more in with the new kids, you can say, or like more value wise, but I'm going to be using this every day. It's going to bring me value no matter what. You can get maybe the QCon series, get something pre-built stock like that, and it'd be really good, for an enthusiast, which I am. But in my opinion, there is definitely, it's not going to be the best that it can be. Me, of course, would want to upgrade that. But then again, there's other boards, blah, blah, blah. It kind of feels like it's hard to say, but it maybe feels like it's kind of filling it. It kind of wants, when you get a board like that, it's maybe trying to be a board that it isn't. It's trying to like climb up the brackets and try to appeal and trying to bring that to like a lower stage. This doesn't seem like it that to me. This seems it's made for happy hacking. It's made for people who program. It's just made as a comfortable keyboard for them to use day in day and for coding hours on hours. It's not trying to like top the enthusiast market. It's not trying to be the best at that. It's being a keyboard that is usable and appeals to a certain I don't know. It's just a difference. It's just for a different type of a person, and for somebody that, if I didn't like keyboards, I'd rather use this rather than have a keyboard. I don't know. It's just really, really nice. It feels like old style because you got the dim switches. You don't got no fancy software. You got like little things you put up. It's really lightweight and like cheap. It's all plastic, and it just feels, while it like the build quality is nothing to really go out for, the design is rather simple looking. It's just down here for some reason. It's just a wedge with a seam. Who knows what the seam is for, but it got a seam. That's just how it's constructed, I guess. It got a do not remove sticker. It's really not meant for modding at all. It got the stock feet, of course. And it got a nice, innovative, revolutionary layout. And it got the sub legends, blah blah blah. On the side, you can see arrow keys are like this, which is, you know, not really typical for a keyboard for like a 60. Usually it's going to be like IJKL or something, or AS or WASD on the function layer. But, you know, no. And the functions over here, backspace or default Lily, but everyone uses backspace, is over here. You got this blah blah blah, these buttons here, which are, you know, 175 U shift. You have default alts here, and then the keywords, the special key here, blah blah blah, Mac button or whatever, or whatever this is. But, you know, typically it'd be reverse. It'd be like, here is where it is, and then here's alts. So that's why I have my 5 dim switch. But yeah, I couldn't really ask more for this keyboard. You could have improved acoustics, okay, sure, but in my opinion, I really like how it sounds and feels. I think it sounds perfectly fine. It's not really something that I really care for or look for. It's not really particularly silent as well, but there's silent versions, and I'm going to be silencing it. And yeah. And the thing about this is that this is not mushy compared to a silent switch, which is very nice. And I know that's an option. So if I were going to, for example, bring this out and to study somewhere, I'm not going to... This would be a nicer option for me than keyboards with silent switches. I have so much silent switches too, which kind of sucks now that I've achieved this. Like, I got these boba gums, and I got these Otemu silent peaches, and I got Gat yellow silence and all that stuff, but those don't really interest me the same way. Something like this. Right now, I guess it doesn't feel silent because, like, maybe if you type like this, but, you know, and the performance isn't bad in terms of stab wise. I wish there were, I guess, different aftermarket cases, because they all seem really expensive. A holy grail, blah blah blah, a few hundred for, you know, and what was it? The Chinese ones, S60, I think. Or the show by show or the show. You have to salvage housings from a different board, so it's really, the prices add up, and it's not really budget friendly. But in my opinion, I'm really satisfied with this. Would I get an aftermarket case? Maybe, but honestly, I'd probably have to get another HHKB before I get an aftermarket case, because I really like the simplicity of this. This is the everyday keyboard. If I was going to have one keyboard, would I pick this or would I pick some of my other fancier stuff? It'd be a hard bargain, actually. I'd actually probably, this would be a strong contender, which just says a lot. You know, to me, it's truly revolutionary to my collection. This is something that will, I'm gonna, this is gonna survive in my collection a lot more than some of the others. And one thing about this is that domes change feel over time, which is going to be really interesting to feel. And they actually harden and stiffen, so they're actually going to be even more tactile, which could be a good or bad thing. That does mean it has a shelf life, you can say, but that's more like seasoning. That's more like, wearing down. That's like breaking in switches, That's an improvement. I will say that the keycaps, I'm a big fan of them. I think they look nice. I think they feel fine and not really particularly annoying or too blank. They're really just standard keycaps, I guess, and I don't really plan on replacing them, which says a lot. They look nice. And there's a blank option too, and there's a full black. There's one and a black one. I think this one looks the nicest though, and resonates with me the best. I will say that in terms of maybe design language, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the really thin bezels on the side, but in person it's really not too bad at all. Like this thin bezel was actually what stopped me from getting the Hex 3C V2, because they slimmed down the bezel, and I wasn't like, in pictures that didn't really look the most higher quality or premium to me, but in person that doesn't really I think that actually gives it some charm, or gives it some I don't know, it just makes it feel old school. It makes it feel simple. It makes it feel like, yeah, I can use this every day and I don't have to, and it I know it's premium, but it's really lightweight, and it's like every day, and I don't care what I'm gonna be doing it. I'm just gonna use it for what it is, and that's it. Would I recommend this keyboard to everyone? No, of course not, because this is really particular. This is something that when you get in, you can't. There's not much things you can do per se. This is really, if you get it, you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. It's, I guess, not really, in my opinion. I hope you're gonna do your research, whatever. Make sure you're a fan of it, but you really have to try it, because I guess think if it resonates for you. If you're somebody like who, oh yeah, I want blank, of course this is, or like I want T word. Yeah, this is the original T word, but it's not really as translatable. It's not really the exact same sound, I guess. You feel me? But yeah. HHKB Professional Classic, just whatever. Professional meaning Topra. Classic is just the classic, I don't know, wired. That's it. That should really be the end of my thoughts, really. I'm really, really, really happy with this, because it's something I'm going to be using every day. It's honestly, to me, it wasn't that expensive compared to my other keyboards. Like, I'd get this over my Bakaneko. I'd get this over, what did I get this for? Probably even my QK65. I probably I use this way more than my QK65 right now. I like this more than my Alice. I like this more than any of my silent boards. So, and probably future boards, silent boards. So my Nibble, my Corn, my Clunker, of course. You don't really get a Clunker for typing, I guess, or everyday use, of course. So of course it's better than that. This is something that is gonna go with me. If I was gonna move out of my house, this is the keyboard I'm bringing, and I'll try to fit in as much other ones, of course. But this is one keyboard that I gotta bring, because no matter what, if I bring another keyboard, the only reason if I'm not gonna bring this keyboard is if I'm gonna take a different board that's like rare, and then I'm just gonna buy another one when I'm in my new location. That'd be the only thing. It feels nice. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. And that's it. Thank you for listening of my thoughts on it. As you can see, it's really overwhelmingly positive. However, of course, there's going to be absolutely cons Of course, but in my opinion, they're really dependent on what you value and the type of person you are, the type of customer, and the type of keyboard you're going to be wanting. Are you going to be wanting, you know, blank, blank, blank? Okay, look for keyboards that do blank, blank, blank. But know that this, but factor in this option, even though it isn't mechanical, it's something that, appeals to a lot of people who care about their keyboards. Which, yeah, that's it. Thank you. A lot of people, is this overhyped? I don't know. A lot of people, I've seen actually a lot of hot takes like Topper's overrated. Yeah, I guess at first it's not really a surprise type of, it's not like a first impression type of person. You kind of ease into it and you get comfortable with it, like, comfort, yeah. And that's when you start like loving it, when you get addicted to it. It's not something that immediately hits you and go like, oh yeah, this is so good. Oh my gosh. This is something you ease into. This is something that you grow on, for example, I think Blade's music, a lot of people say, oh yeah, they grow into it. Stuff like that. That's it. Finally, this is my end. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. 32 minutes, damn. Wow. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah.